is Nancy Bacon Franck, and I am Karl Bacon's daughter. My dad was a brilliant, wired, energetic, creative mind with endless energy and endless ideas for rides. It was really fun. I thought as a kid that this was like a dream come true. I could go and ride on the rides in the test lots as much as I wanted. It was really, really fun. I think I've ridden every ride probably more than anyone else in Disneyland in test versions. So after the sandbags on the rides a lot of the time, my mother and I would be the test guinea pigs for the rides. And on the Flume ride, we had to go on the ride and tell them if the splash level was right. And so some of the times we would go in the parks and we get on the ride and we were completely drenched. And we'd have to say to my dad, "You're soaking us. You got to lower the water." So I remember going to Magic Mountain and riding Gold Rusher for the first time. And as usual, the sandbags went in the rides first, and then Jane, my mom, and Nancy were second. And they wanted such a fast roller coaster that when we did the test ride, we were bruised all over. And we got out of the car and said, "Dad, it's way too hard. You gotta change it. We're getting all beat up." Okay, so one morning I was sitting in the kitchen eating breakfast with my dad, and he would often talk about his ride ideas with me because I was a kid and he'd pass them by. And he was sitting down one day at breakfast and he said, "You know, they're telling me I can't make a ride that turns upside down because of gravity." And he goes, "They're really wrong, and I'm going to show them." And that was the corkscrew. No, I have motion sickness like my dad, and I too had a difficult time riding the rides. And so one time my kids, as teenagers, said, "We'll take you to Great America, Mom, and you can ride the rides, and these you won't get sick on." But I did. I laid down on the ground for about 2 hours with my head spinning, throwing up. God. The legacy of Aero to me is two brilliant men that were creative, hardworking, dedicated men to building amusement rides, quality rides, and they were not doing it for publicity. They were doing it because they loved it. And so I think the fun for me was wherever my dad needed to be working, my mother and I would go and we would be in these parks and we would go in for free and have a blast riding all the rides. Oh, my dad would bring home some of the little cars, the Model T models, and some of I think the Utopia ride cars. And he would let the kids in the neighborhood drive them around and have a lot of fun in the neighborhood. And so that really also made me very popular because the kids wanted to know what they were going to get to ride next. No, they were very humble men that loved what they did, and when the spotlight was put on them, they were very shy and would say, "Oh, you know, we don't know why this is important. We don't do much." So very different than somebody that's looking for fame. They truly loved what they did. Well, they were sitting here in the living room, side by side, and they kind of grabbed each other's arm, and they both started to cry and said, "We don't know why we're getting this. We didn't do anything. We don't deserve this. We're not special. We don't deserve this." It was amazing, really amazing. Yes, he bought many machining tools and built a shop in the backyard And one of his hobbies was building clocks from scratch. So he would mill all the actual plastic parts to design the clocks. So they're pretty amazing.
And he did it for fun, basically.
That was for fun, yes.
Wow. To bring it home.
I would say that he never had it off his mind. He lived it 24 hours a day. He was creating, inventing, working on ideas. He had more energy than any human I've ever seen. Paced the floors looking for ideas. So yeah, he lived it day to day. Well, I have memories of my dad coming home and going, I hate that ride. I hate that groaning Dumbo ride. I gotta fix it. I don't know what's wrong.